Hey guys, welcome back to the Last Witness channel. It's your girl Lena, your host, and today we are going to be reacting to the Angelina Resendiz case. So we're going to watch some of the news clips that have come up with some recent updates. Let's just start and see how it goes.
Family knows that it is something that could happen. Their son or daughter could die in the line of duty in service to their country, but sometimes the worst happens in a different way, in a cloud of mystery and unanswered questions, as in the case of Angelina Resendiz, a 21-year-old Navy seaman who was assigned to a ship that was docked in Norfolk, Virginia. Late last month, May 29th, Angie went missing, and then 10 days later, agents from NCIS found Angie's body 10 miles from her barracks. But this is how Naval Seaman Angelina Resendiz was returned to her heartbroken family in Texas in a flag-draped coffin, an American flag. That woman that you see there in the white dress is quite obviously Angie's mom, who we met on this program just a few days before this tragic homecoming. As we reported then, the Navy does have a suspect, a fellow active duty sailor assigned to Angie's ship. But this is where things get really quiet, because crime and punishment within the military seems to be on a strictly need-to-know basis, and the Navy seems to look at us civilians, as though we don't need to know too much. So I turn now to retired Coast Guard Commander Marshall Griffin. He's a former JAG officer, which is what they call attorneys and judges in the armed forces. Marshall is now representing the mother of Seaman Angela Resendiz. Thank you so much for being on. I have so many questions for you. We have not named the suspect, Marshall, but when Angie's mom was on with us last week, she did. She had heard the name of the suspect, and it appears that the Navy has released the name of the suspect to you.
That's correct. The Navy prosecutors confirmed that it was Jeremiah Copeland. I heard Jeremiah when they told me. I've not seen it in print, but Jeremiah Copeland is who I believe it is.
Is that all they would tell you? Because it feels very strange. I mean, in civilian justice, you get to know why your fellow citizens are being held against their will. But in the Uniform Code of Military Justice, I'm not so sure that it mirrors civilian justice, does it?
I wanted to take a quick pause right there. Um, just taking a quick moment and kind of running down on the case. Um, it's a very scary situation. It's a young lady who decided to serve her country and to go out in this type of situation and already have a suspect and being provided a name and nothing else. It's almost like, hey, we got this suspect, but that's all the information we're going to give you at this time. So they might know more than what they're giving off. Maybe just to, keep the case close knit without getting information out, um, causing any kind of damage to their case. Um, let's go ahead and continue to see what the attorney does say.
So, I mean, it's all grounded in the Constitution, as you know. So it's all based on that law. You know, all of the case law that would be binding on civilian court, the federal civilian courts, is either binding or persuasive on military courts. So the same rights exist. I think you're really just seeing the reflection of kind of a military that's a lower volume. They don't handle, quite as much military or criminal justice as a civilian system. And so, maybe just handles the public interface quite a bit different.
Does it ever? We feel so in the dark about this, and yet I'm trying to do the math. It is certainly more than 72 hours. This person, Jeremiah Copeland, to my knowledge, has not been charged. How long can they hold this person, this fellow seaman, before charging and releasing that information publicly?
So the charges will get perfected at an Article 32 hearing. That's an analog to the civilian like a grand jury or a probable cause hearing, a preliminary hearing, depending on what jurisdiction. But they'll go to an Article 32 hearing where a neutral and attached JAG officer will look at the, draft charges or proposed charges. He'll have a limited right of discovery at that hearing to get whatever evidence the government wants to present to establish probable cause to move forward to try the case at a general court martial.
So, okay, I look at these pictures of Angie and my heart just breaks. Her mom said she thought this person, Jeremiah Copeland, might have worked in a kitchen with her. Do you have any information? Because I feel so terrible for the mom. Everything she knows is from friends, but not from the Navy.
No, and that's true. And I'll tell you, I spend a lot of my workday trying to get information out of the military. It doesn't come easy if they're not programmed to release. And there's the name of the game in the military is discretion. Officers in the military have a lot of discretion on what they do and don't do. And it's kind of presumed that they are acting in the best interest of the federal government. So that's why they're doing what they're doing.
Just want to be really But can I be real specific and interrupt for a second? We have a photograph of a guy pointing to Angie, and this is not the person who's being held. I just want to make it really, really clear that that's necessarily, I don't know who this person is, but this is just a photograph from Angie's family of Angie, obviously in happier times. But carry on with what you said. I just want to make sure that that person in the photograph is not maligned in any way. If he's not involved, he shouldn't be pictured like that.
Sure, no, that does look like a very positive event. That looks like a pretty traditional military promotion or advancement ceremony of some sort. But the military, so they have 120 days to get him arraigned. And he can be held there. That's under Rule for Court Martial 707. That sets at the 120 days. And within that 120 days, they need to have the Article 32 hearing and get him to the arraignment.
So once that happens, and just to be clear, Uniform Code of Military Justice, I'd always heard it really is similar to civilian justice. Once they get to that arraignment, would it be? Would it be as transparent? Will we find out what the relationship was, how this poor young naval seaman died? Will we find out all those details that we normally start hearing about quite quickly in civilian justice?
Well, we certainly hope to. And I think you would see in a lot of criminal investigations, investigators being pretty tight-lipped, especially when it's kind of thrust upon them, as it was in this case. There was no, quiet development or anything like that, as you might see in some other type of case. Releasing information this early in the investigation could damage the prosecution, could, reduce the odds of a successful prosecution. So I would expect to see some of the, lack of transparency here very early, but we expect that to change. And certainly as the case progresses into the 32, again, more information is going to come out there. And then, after the arraignment, we'll have a judge and a court and an established TMO, and you'll start to see some of the filings, and we'll learn more about the case then.
Boy, I sure hope that your client, Esmeralda Castle is her name, Angie's mom, I sure hope she gets that information before the rest of us, because she is really hurting.
Thank you for watching.
So as we close that one out, that video out again, beautiful young lady, and let's just kind of, go back on just looking at some of the pictures, you know, of her, just beautiful young lady, easily could be a sister of mine, a friend, family member. Same thing with you. You could see this young lady and just picture her being a sister of yours, a family member of yours, a friend of yours. Beautiful, beautiful smile. And it's just a scary and an unfortunate situation that she has faced. Going in, wanting to serve her country. Looks like she even got promoted as well, based on the other picture with the other gentleman. And it was good that they were able to clarify that, hey, this is not who we are talking about as far as a suspect, because people can just put things together in their head and they see a picture with her in the mail and instantly think, hey, that's got to be him, since we don't know what he looks like. And the part that I also wanted to focus on was realizing that the mom was getting information from friends, from other people, like who this guy possibly could be, besides the military. That's very frustrating. Losing a child, and the only information you're getting from is from friends. Everybody outside, other than the people that you should be relying on, which are the ones solving or investigating her case. Um, there is another video kind of wanted to touch base on, is her homecoming, her going back home to her mom. And again, all my love and prayers go to Angelina's family, especially her mother. Just seeing like little clips of her mom, seeing her casket coming off that plane. um it does something to you. It does something to you because I think even with myself being a parent, don't you want your children to bury you instead of vice versa. You don't ever think about you burying your children. I think that just goes across all, situations and scenarios. So what I wanted to do is, pay my respects, our moment of silence, um, to this young lady who has lost her life. Um, we're just gonna watch her doing her homecoming, her last ride, her last flight, back home. So let's pay the respects that we can. If you're at home, you're at work, you might be in the car listening to this particular YouTube. Um, we're just gonna take our time and watch this. So I wanted to go ahead and end it there, guys. I wanted to do an uninterrupted part where we just take the moment to pay our respects to Angelina and her family, especially her mother. That was definitely heartbreaking to hear the cries, all the emotions of, her having to see her daughter being returned, in a coffin. That's definitely um, heartbreaking as well. And also seeing other veterans that looked like they were there as well, in the background, older veterans also paying their respect. So that's also a big thing, as well. So again, I appreciate everyone watching this video, and I'm just glad to be back. I will go ahead and continue to follow up with Angelina Resendiz's case. Since now they do have a suspect, again, a suspect that hasn't necessarily been charged for what has happened to her, but just the fact that they have a suspect is giving you the idea. You can come with your own conclusions that there has to be something that pinned this guy instead of everybody else, but this guy that might have been in her unit that is a suspect. So, just we'll see how it goes, and I will provide an update. I'll continue to watch out on this case. And again, if Angelina's mom comes across my YouTube, my love and prayers go out to you. And again, thank you for watching this on the Last Witness channel. I love you guys. Peace.